welcome back to the Unseen Podcast. This podcast is where we focus on what's below the surface, the unseen work, struggles, wins, and the stories you don't hear. Everything from life, families, sport, everything in between. My name's Rob. Cheers for joining me. Let's get cracking on with the cracking on. So, what's happened this week? Well, we released the first podcast, didn't we? Got the double figures last time I checked. We had 17 listens. So it means 17 people had some sort of faith in me and managed to click on it. So I appreciate you. If you know who you are, you do know who you are. I do appreciate the support. Like I say, it will get better and we'll keep on going. I started a challenge in the gym on Monday. It's called 50 Hard. And I've done some amount of training this week. So this week, I've been in the gym 4 times. I've ran over 25k and I'm enjoying it. You know, I'm trying to make it fun. I've got a bad personality. It's either all in or all out. You know, sometimes I go really hard at things and then I'm just check out for a month. My wife and people I work with, they think I have ADHD. Funny story is I actually started to believe that maybe I do have ADHD, you know, like I am a bit scatterbrained. It's like, how do you go about finding out if you've got ADHD? Like, I lose bank cards, keys, hats, my phone. I'm constantly losing things like that. But I'll remember like a question from one of my exams in secondary school. And I can remember like word for word what someone said to me 10 years ago. I don't know, really good long-term memory. But just see if I set down a set of keys or a hat, they're not getting picked up. It's ridiculous. Like when I used to work in different jobs, my hobbies, I jump in and out of hobbies like a hokey cokey. 1 minute I'm in a hobby, next minute I'm out. I've tried everything under the sun, and nothing really sticks just because I get bored so quickly. So anyway, must have been about 2022, 2023. I'll see if I can put this on the screen. But I emailed Belfast ADHD Clinic basically saying, look, how do I go about getting tested for ADHD? You know what these fucking pricks said? We're currently not taking on any new people. I was like, sorry, what? I replied to him, I'm not looking for a job, mate. I just want to know if I've got ADHD, how to go about doing that. I didn't get a reply to that. But I had one of those families, and mainly my dad. He never really believed in ADHD. And this isn't me saying like, you know, it's not real. Like, I don't really believe in it either. And I know it is a real thing. That's me not saying it doesn't exist. But like loads of things exist and we just work past them, you know. It's not an excuse sort of thing. Yeah, it can be a crutch, but I just think we get a bit soft. Like my dad was a bit old school, so you know, when I didn't want to focus, it was either, you know, focus on your homework or focus on this belt. And, you know, 8 out of 10 times I'd focus on the homework and 2 out of 10 times I'd get refocused on the homework. But you hear like ADHD can be an advantage because the energy in the scatterbrain produces some great content on it, like personalities. People with ADHD are usually funny. They're built for entertainment and comedy. So like it can't be all bad. So maybe that's my goal, you know. Maybe if I do have it, hopefully it's a good thing for me. We'll see. But yes, back to the gym. I decided to go in for this 50 days. They're calling it 50 Hard. And like I say, I've done 4 sessions this week. And I joined this gym, this LFTD gym. And it's not like everything you see on social media. It's weird. On social media, you'll see a fella just screaming at like women and saying like dirty things. And he's screaming at blokes and shouting about drugs and this and that. Like, that is an aspect of it to create like a fun sort of banterful environment. And also it gets people in the door. Great business plan because the amount of views you get, like all publicity is good publicity and that. But you don't see what I see. When I first went in, I was very hesitant. You know, it can be intimidating. It was a bit overwhelming to begin with. But you see that like everyone's supporting each other. It's hard to explain, but without that team element and the vibes, it wouldn't work in there. You know, I trained in the Navy for years, and the way we train is you do quite a lot of circuits. You know, trekking over mountains, and you have to carry everyone around you. You're a team when you're doing stuff like that. There's weaknesses and there's strengths. And we'll get into talking about that because I learned quite a lot through my career about different weaknesses and different strengths within teams. But nothing feels hard after you've sort of beasted yourself. Once you've done one of these sessions, you come out and nothing, just you don't really care about the small stuff. There's no more road rage. There's no more getting angry at people. You've literally just put yourself through a really tough workout. During this 50 hard, by the way, one of the rules is no alcohol and no takeaways. 1 second. Right now, I'm currently drinking a Guinness Zero. I like my Guinness. I like my weekends. So, is having a Guinness Zero cheating? It is calories, but if they're tracked and counted, is zero alcohol drinks allowed? Or do you think that's like a crutch? You know, do you think that's like going from heroin down to cocaine? You know, is it still bad? I don't know. What's your opinions on that? If anyone from my gym listens to this, what's your opinion? Don't tell Ryan because I don't want to get shouted at. But anyway, the training sort of, it reminds me of my initial training. You know, when I went through military training, you're getting shouted at constantly. You feel sore every morning. You're waking up at 5 every morning. You're getting beasted. You're getting told to do push-ups for no reason in the rain just because someone's had a bad morning and they've had to wake up and come in and look after you. You know, and you're talking to yourself in your head like, what the fuck am I doing here? When I went through training, I was 22, and that's not old. But in terms of joining the Navy, it was old. I was one of the oldest in my class. I was like maybe 6th or something. Like, I can't remember, but it was definitely out of the 40 people, I was in the one of the 10 oldest, you know. And I'm 22. See, looking back, I was an idiot at 22. It took, even now, like, I do things that are stupid, but at 22, everything I done was mainly stupid. You'd be hard pushed to find something that wasn't stupid. But, you know, when you don't give up and you complete something like that as a team, you feel like you've won, you know, and that's how it feels in this gym. Every workout, like, it's a slog. Sometimes I'm like, how long have we got left? And then next minute the whistle goes and you're done. You're like, thank fuck. But you feel great. A silly analogy I sort of come up with, you know, have you ever played for a sports team when you're younger or even now, and you get a big win and it just feels great, you know, all the lads, you've all worked towards something, you've all pushed and you've got it. Now, like, in life, and if you're the same as me, a bit older, maybe have a child, loads of work commitments, work all over the place. I don't always have the time to show up and play for a team. I'd love to play football, but I can't. Like, I can't be there every Saturday morning. I don't want to be there every Saturday morning as well. Sometimes I want to go away for a night with my missus. My son plays football on Saturday mornings, and let's be honest, I'm fucking 2 stone overweight, and I'm not going to make it to the Premier League. He's 2 years old. He might have a chance. We'll see. So I'll put more time into him than me. But this gym sort of allows that team aspect, you know. Like, it allows all us older cunts, you know, to make a commitment and sort of still have that camaraderie around us through a hard workout. So I'm really enjoying it, and we'll see how these 50 days go. Say 50, we're 1 week in, 43 days left. And that week flew in. It was tough, felt a bit hungry, but I definitely was better that week than the week before. So keep that up, and hopefully every week, you know, you get 1% better. That sort of gay stuff all the influencers say. Right, what else did we do this week, Rob? So I actually listened. Me and my wife actually sat down and watched a TV show called Adolescence. Me and my wife struggled to find the same TV show to watch. I don't know if your users have the same sort of wife as mine, but my wife is reality TV show. She watches Family Diaries. Shite is what she watches, shite. But she calls my stuff shite, so who am I to judge? But we sat down and watched Adolescence together. And I thought, I have to talk about this. I was like, fuck me, it's been a long, long time since I've seen anything that good. Firstly, like, how it was filmed is mental. It's all one shot. And that's happened before, the movie 1917, but it just seems so well done, these one shots. So apparently, I hit the Google, didn't I? They rehearsed the episode for a week, and then it took them a week to film an episode. Sorry if you do hear me cough in the background. My son was sick all week, and I do have a sore throat. But yeah, a full week to rehearse all their lines, because it's all one shot, and then a full week to film. The acting in it's world class. Stephen Graham, the guy from Liverpool, you all know who he is. He was in Line of Duty. He's in that 1,000 Blows. He's in loads of things. He's always playing a English gangster, a Scouse gangster, and he's great in everything. But it's very weird, this TV show, because like, it doesn't really have a start, middle, and end, or like a good versus bad. Like, it does have like a storyline throughout, but it sort of jumps and it tells you the story through emotions rather than good versus evil. It sort of tells you, like, it's hard to make a decision and you just don't know how to feel. And if you do watch it, it sort of promotes a culture that, first of all, it's about knife crime, but it promotes this culture of like how young men and young lads are being very sexist and very misogynistic. And yes, that is an element of today's society. But I hope, especially like if you're a woman, right? Because it's easy to be biased, okay? Women defend women, men defend men, and that's just the way it is. That you belong to groups. We all belong to groups. Anyone that thinks they're different is because they're trying to be different. And automatically, by trying to be different, you belong to that group that's trying to be different. And that's happened throughout society. People say, oh, you're so mainstream because you like pop, and then they go become a goth and they all dress and wear the same clothes. People say you watch normal TV. I watch anime, but then they all dress the same. We split into groups, and it's fine. It's fine to split into groups. What's not fine is to say your group's better than another group. Just shut your mouth. Everyone's the same. Trying to be different makes you exactly the same as everyone trying to be different. All right? That's that rant done. However, the young boy in it, Jamie, right? Like, I was watching him and I had so much in common with this young lad. I grew up with 3 sisters, very female family, and like my sisters used to beat the rag out of me. Used to beat me silly. My sisters, I used to cry like a little girl. I was a little emotional child, and then as I got older, I had real bad anger management issues. Like I did, like I got suspended from school for some silly stuff. I became the class clown. I acted out a lot. Would never say I was bad, just stupid. But my sisters, if they listen to this, they will tell you, Jesus, I was watching The Notebook and Love Actually and every sort of woman's TV show you can imagine with them 3 sisters, and then all 3 of them would kick my shade in, and I became a little soft boy. So when I did start running about in groups with lads, like I felt the need to like be a hard man as well because I was fat and I was a big fella. Couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat, but I felt the need to sort of be a big man. And for years I tried to fill that role, and it sort of became a catch-22 because by trying to be a big man, then I thought I was a big man, and I was getting my shit kicked in quite regularly, which I suppose isn't bad now looking back. It's made me who I am, Now I think twice before I speak to someone because I found out that I'm soft as shite. But what I do hope when you watch Adolescence, because please give it a watch, you look at it and you think, like, this young boy Jamie he was trying to fit in. He was getting bullied, he was getting picked on, and he snapped, and he didn't realize what that moment could do for him. And anyway, look, I don't want to spoil it anymore for you. It doesn't justify anything that he done, of course. That is so far from what I'm saying. That did not justify anything done, but I hope it shows people about like men's mental health and boys' mental health. Like, I know a lot of mental health with women and their hormones. Look, I can't say how hard it is to be a woman because I'm not one. I've got 3 sisters and my wife and my nieces, and I'm sure it is tough. But I'm sure like women can't go out running, women can't do the same things as men. I understand that. I totally understand that. But what I will say is, see at the age of 12, 13, honestly, as a boy, it's insane. One day your friend is talking to you who's a girl, the next day she has boobs, and you're like, what are those things on her chest? And I don't know why I'm talking about kids, but right, get that out of your head. But you know what I'm saying? All our hormones sort of come on at once. We just get hit with testosterone like that, and we don't know what to do. We're overwhelmed. One day you're taken away, the next day you're feeling your willy and it feels good, and you're like, what is actually happening? And then stuff starts coming out of your willy, and your willy starts crying to you, and you're like, why the fuck is my willy doing this? Long story short, at that age where pre-puberty and puberty for a boy, like the anger that you have in your body is insane, and it just needs to be recognized a bit more, and I don't know, understood. It can be tough being a young boy, and everyone says that boys can be bad at that age. We don't know what's going on. We think that we're becoming a man, and we're not. Like, I don't even know if I'm a man now. Like I say, I still do some stupid stuff, but hopefully you can see that, like, it is hard for boys too, and that's it. And that's not taken away from anyone else People have it tougher than us, but everyone's fighting their own battles, and your worst day is only ever your worst day, as Joe Rogan would say, right? But the final scene in this, right? Stephen Graham, I won't say what happens, but his character trying to hold everything together and provide for his family, and ultimately, it still wasn't enough, was it? Like, it was hard. At the end of that, I cried. Like, I cried my eyes out. I don't mean one tear. Like, I cried my eyes out. My wife was sitting next to me going, like, are you okay? I had a pillow over my face and I was crying my eyes out just at that last scene. Anyway, if you haven't watched it, Adolescent, go on Netflix, 4 episodes. You will not regret it. And see if you do watch it, or if you have watched it, comment below. Like, did you enjoy it? Like, what did you think? Was it unique? Would you like to see more TV shows like that? Because I thought, fuck, it's unbelievable. Another cough, sorry about that. So, content. I won't lie, folks. I've been a bit stuck for content. I want to talk about football, golf, life, leadership, life lessons that I've learned. I need to get a camera. I need to get a place that I can sort of do this. My scatterbrain has so much hobbies and interests, you know. Everyone is telling me to focus on a niche, find one thing, and understand that and push that. Like, fuck me. You know what I find hilarious? The moment half of TikTok seems to be TikTok coaches. How can everyone be a TikTok coach? It's fucking boring, man. I understand there's all these trends, but I just can't bring myself to do it. It's not me. I've always wanted to entertain people, which is annoying because right now I don't have the camera or the equipment, or mainly a space to film things. You know, I've got a child and my wife is about the house, and right now I have to find myself a quiet corner. And hopefully this podcast will become visual at some point so I can get some good clips out of it. But for right now, we're working with what we will. But I truly believe that I can smash this content, and if I just keep pushing, I will do it. Hopefully, we'll see. But for now, look, we're just going to keep filming. We're just going to keep the engine ticking over. But hopefully come summertime, we'll have some more equipment and get out in the golf course, do some challenges, do some funny skits, football matches. I like going to football matches with my dad. And hopefully the podcast will be established to where my friends aren't embarrassed and we can get on here for a chat. We can do football watch-alongs, whatever it is. But that's the goal at the end of the day. I tell you what I did see on Instagram. Another drink of my Guinness Zero. The new fire service class have passed out. Class of 2026. Congratulations, guys. Well done. You've smashed it. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but yes, they passed out. They're all over social media at the moment. These cunts have won the lottery. I've applied for the fire service twice, and I haven't had a sniff at an interview. Not so much as a sniff now. I want to come home, and obviously it's a great job. The amount of people that apply, I think it's like 1% of people get in. But my job I currently do, right, involves firefighting training. And I don't mean like separate firefighting training. We train with the fire service. It involves working in confined spaces, staying somewhat physically fit, using breathing apparatus. It's a public service. Problem solving, like being under really high stress environments and staying calm. And I can't get a fucking interview. Like, I can't get an interview for this fire service in Northern Ireland. Like, just give me an interview. I'll smash your interview. Just give me a chance. Obviously, I'm not bitter, as you can hear. I'm clearly not bitter. Not bitter at all. And the police service are hiring again. I don't know what it is. When I was younger, I would have loved to be a policeman. I dreamed of being a policeman. I thought I'd be a great policeman. But as you get older, it just doesn't seem as appealing. And I don't know what that is. If it's risk and you've got more to risk and you're brave when you're young, but the police service in Northern Ireland just, I don't know. Maybe it's line of duty telling me that it's corrupt. But like when I was younger, it was a great job, wasn't it? Did anyone else ever want to be a policeman? Did you ever think, maybe it was just because it was guns and you're very brave. Now I'm thinking, I've got a family and, you know, probably somewhat isn't worth it. Yeah. So, like I said before, talking about having a guest on the podcast. Hopefully I have a guest lined up for the podcast. It's actually someone who I know quite well, one of my good friends, taught me quite a lot in my career. Someone who, quite frankly, came from nothing, and he still turned himself into something quite big. He started his own business, teaching and coaching the youth of tomorrow, challenging the conformity and outdated ideas of the Scottish Football Association. He's single-handedly trying to create a better platform for football and thrive it in Scotland. He's just started his own podcast, which quite frankly has blew up in such a short period of time. Podcast, he's promoting the youth side of football and the amateur side of football. He's taking a fresh approach to coaching. He's allowing kids, which you don't see a lot now, to express their individual talent. He's asking them to go out and, skin players and take players on and not just pass across the back or, ticky-tacky. Take a player on, a bit of old school, a bit sort of find your identity as a football player rather than fit the team's identity, which is great for kids because it makes it fun. But hopefully we get him on the podcast pretty soon. Let me know if you'd be interested in listening to that. Let me know if you want to come on the podcast. It's not one of those podcasts where I'm going to sit down and ask you what's your favourite, TV shows, what's your favourite movies. We're just going to chat. You know what I mean? Just have a good laugh. And the reason we're getting him on the podcast and stuff like that is, hesitation. That's my buzzword of the week. I've made a couple of videos on it. So this week I put out a quick video on the importance of not hesitating. I mean, the video wasn't seen by much people. I put out one about having a cleaner. And more people looked at that. But that's just the reality, and that everyone wants to be took out of the real world for a little while. Sometimes it gets boring, doesn't it? You open up TikTok and all you hear is people preaching. Do you want to get fit? Have you started your 2026 right? You can do it. Put a gun to your head. If someone was going to kill your mum, you would do it. Like, it gets fucking boring. Like, piss off. Like, I'm here to have a laugh. But the reason I preach not hesitating is because how much is done for me. You want to ask someone out and you wait and the time passes. Someone else gets the girl, doesn't it? Someone else gets the boy. Or worse, you could put into the fucking friend zone. And us lads, no such thing as a friend zone, is there? Like, I genuinely don't think I have one female friend. Not one. I'm friendly with women. I like all my friends' partners. But I don't really think I could say I'm friends. I couldn't invite any of them out for a drink. You know what I mean? Girls, just know, if you've got a man that you think's your friend, he's not your friend. If he's inviting you out for a drink, he's looking into your knickers or he's gay. That's the only options. Girls and boys aren't friends. They just cannot be friends. I'm sorry. Maybe you can up until the age of 20. After that, not a chance. But look, hesitation. I once was told a speech, right? Hesitation is the quiet killer of momentum. It doesn't shout. It whispers. Maybe later. What if? Let's just wait. And before you know it, the moment's gone. Some other prick has taken your moment. Here's the truth. No one ever changed anything by standing still and thinking about standing still. You don't need the perfect timing. You don't need all the answers. And you don't need permission. You need movement. Because action creates clarity, not the other way around. Confidence doesn't come before the step. It comes after the step. If you fall, great. You're moving. If you look stupid, even better. At least you're memorable. If it doesn't work, congratulations. You've learned something while others were still standing still considering their options. Hesitation feels safe, but it's expensive. It costs you chances. It costs you momentum. It costs you wins you never even knew you were competing for. So when the moment shows up, when the door cracks open, when your gut says go, don't wait. Don't overthink. Don't ask what if. Step forward. Because the people who win aren't the smartest in the room. They're the ones who move first. So stop thinking about it and let's go. Get moving, folks. So that's my little speech on hesitation. So lads, if you're out there and you've got a girl that you want to ask out or a raise you want to ask for in work, if you don't ask, you don't get. Look, young Rab, when I was 16, I was probably 18 stone, looked like a bowling ball, and I managed to go out with a skinny girl that was 3 classes above me that got head year. Is that what you call it? Best in year? I don't know. She came top in her results, basically, for her year out of all the females. But you don't ask, you don't get. I swung, hit a home run. That's it. See you. The rest is history. Now we live in this neighbourhood where I have to pretend to be civilised in this posh home and have to feed my son avocado and salmon. Tell you what, that is a bit of a conundrum, isn't it, as a parent? Like, my son, I want to give him the best life, right? So send him to maybe the best school, whether it be a grammar school. Not that I didn't have a great life, because I did, because there's different ways to be brought up. But I want my son to have better than me, do better than me, so his kids can do better than him. And that's what men strive to do, is leave the next generation better off. But it also does wind me up. Like, he might be soft as piss. He might not be able to take a joke. He might not have any banter. Like, them weekends we used to go to the park and drink, you know what I mean? You used to get tenner from your man and dad, 20 quid, tenner from your granny, whatever. Right? This is what I used to get. So, 2 big bottles of Wicked for a fiver. Remember that offer used to be on? Stand outside the off sales. 2 big bottles of Wicked, please. Fiver. Bottle of Cactus Jack's Green. Like £4.50 or something, right? That was a tenner gone. But what you used to do is you used to drink like a big chug of the Blue Wicked and then pour the Cactus Jacks in, and it used to turn it purple. And you used to do that with both bottles. Then you'd have 2 big bottles of this fucking absolute lightning juice, like purple Wicked with apple Cactus Jacks. You used to sit in the park and drink that all night. The next tenner, like $7.50 on a mixed kebab. It was great, you know what I mean? You'd have some change left, but that was it every weekend. And then used to stay, like my best mate when I was younger, a fella called Clark. I used to just say staying in Clark's house. Clark used to say he was staying in my house. And that was it. We were out all weekend. My son won't get that. Like, my son's going to like, Daddy, can I go to Stefan's house? Oh, fuck. I tell you why that name Stefan's in my head. Last week I said the guy that does interviews for Northern Ireland is called Rory. I apologise, Stefan. His name's Stefan. And now I'm making fun of your name like it's posh. Let me pick a different posh name. What's a posh name? Oh, so Jude come in maybe when he's 14, 15. Oh, Daddy, I've just played rugby with Benedict. Can I stay in Benedict's house tonight? I'm going to be like, yeah, do you need a tenner for Wickeds or Cactus Jacks? Do you need Daddy to run the office to get you a bottle of Bucky? Daddy, no, we're just going to have some chamomile tea and play Minecraft. I'd be like, fuck off, son. No, you're not. You know what I mean? Do you need Daddy to teach you how to finger? You know, that's the things I worry about. Like, I want him to have a better life than me, but like, also, like, is he missing out on just being a child? I suppose everyone's different, but I remember like breaking your arms, getting in fights, drinking at the weekends. Like, it was fun, and it's a catch-22 in that as a parent. What do you think? If you're from where I'm from, or you know me, or you're going through the same sort of thing now, where you're trying to better your kid's life, do you ever just feel yourself thinking like, but he's going to miss out on so much fun that I had? But then, I bet you there's some rugby kids out there that went to my school that think I had a sad life and I missed out on the fun they had, which I suppose is true because I only know my experiences, but they weren't bad. They were fun. They were a learning curve, but they were fun. What I do need help with, and we'll end on this, in a couple of weeks my wife turns 30. So we will have been together nearly 15 years. That's half our lives. What do you get your wife for her 30th birthday? This girl is the hardest girl ever in the world to buy for, because she gets whatever she wants. She has her own money. She has her own good job. She just buys whatever she wants herself. You know, she doesn't want to party. Too much people. She's not really a party type. She likes to go out with her close friends, but they're going to do something with her herself. She doesn't want any clothes or any items. She's not into like fashion stuff. You know, she likes her clothes, but like she shops in River Island, Shein, Primark, wherever else women shop, just those normal shops. She's not going to like Prada or Gucci, or she's not into like Michael Kors bags. She never has been. She's never been expensive to buy for. She likes her jewellery, but when I say she likes her jewellery, she's not asking me to go to Lunds. She's asking me to go to like the fake jewellery shops, you know what I mean? So what do you buy your wife for her 30th? Like, I was just going to give her money. Is that rude? Because as a bloke, we love money. Just give me money, I'd be happy. But as a man, getting a gift for your wife, is money rude? And then on top of that, I was also thinking, what do I get my wife? And then I remembered we have a son and he doesn't work. So that means I have to get my wife a present from him, surely, doesn't it? Or do I just get her presents and just say like, well, he's skint, he doesn't work, does he? You know what I mean? He's only 2 years old. He doesn't do any chores. Like, what do you do? I need help. Ladies, blokes, if you're older than me, what did you get your wife for her 30th? What did you get your missus for the 30th? Women out there, what would you like for your 30th? Help a man out, because this is a tough decision for me. Also, if you have listened the whole way through this podcast, look, I could cry the sob stories to you. I could tell you, follow me because I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. Whatever it may be, I don't have that in me. Follow me because we're going to have a good journey throughout this. And also, I'm looking to buy a garden room so I can make content out there, watch a football and have a man cave. So lads, if you're out there and you want to get behind something really fucking serious, hit follow, hit like, hit share, do all that sort of shit, because Rab needs a man cave. And you know what? There's people in Africa that need water, but they don't understand what it's like not to have your own space, okay? I don't know what I'm saying now, I'm just talking shit. And that's the joys of talking to yourself. A solo podcast will open up your biggest insecurities and fears. I sometimes talk and I look at the little volume button going up and down on the recording studio. But if you did listen to this, thank you. Thank you for listening to whatever amount you did. Give it a like so I know you did listen. Also, drop me a message. Tell me you're enjoying the podcast. Let me know, would you like the podcast to be video? Does anyone ever watch video podcast? I know it's good for clip farming, and eventually I will try and get visual. But do you listen on audio or do you watch the podcast? Let me know. Drop a like, drop me a message. Let me know you've listened to it. Give me some ideas. Help me improve. Hopefully I've filled half an hour of your time today. Cheers. Have a good week, folks. Speak to you next week. See ya. And you're singing the song, singing this is your life, then you wake up in the morning and